Thanks for coming to do this. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem.
What do we call you?
Most people call me Gamer Boy, because my username used to be Gamer Boy Bathwater, which is just a beautiful name. But I changed my name to GamerBoyBidoof about a year or so ago. But most people just call me Chris.
Where are you from?
From Massachusetts, East Coast boy,
Oh,
Boston accent, all the good stuff.
that's what it was. I think I noticed that accent a little bit in some of your words. It was a little bit strong.
Say pasta a little, funny.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
How old are you?
28. I turned 28 in June 15th.
What made you start creating?
So I think what helped me start was this is YouTuber called the One Boom. I found his channel because I at the time I was really into Warframe. This was around in 2018ish. I was super into Warframe, so I was looking up streams just of people that are good at the game to to help me like learn it and whatnot. And I found his streams, and after a while, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to do this myself because I used to stream back in the day on Twitch back when it was called Justin TV when Modern Warfare 2 first came out in the 360.
Mhm.
And I don't know, ever since then that kind of sparked my interest back into streaming, but I'd say my biggest inspiration for wanting to get back into it is there's this YouTuber called Grey Wealth. He has the whole character model thing too. He used to make memes and everything like that and shit, very shit posty, but that's just I used to make memes and stuff like that, so that kind of humor and all that I'm really into that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And yeah. So I'd say Grey Wolf, he does animations as well that he uses a very simple character model and animates it, but there's just something about it that I'm like, oh, that looks so cool. Like I want to do something like that.
Mhm.
Um, so that's what got me into it really.
What do you hope to achieve as a creator?
So I think every new creator is like, oh man, I want to get millions of views and all that shit, right? My goal with streaming and YouTube has always just been to find new people, game with, chill with, and make some friends. Um, but ultimately, if I do grow to any significant size, I don't know how big that would be. But my mom had lymphedema; her legs were about 200 pounds each, and I was her caretaker. She had this since I was a kid. And my goal is, if I ever did grow to a big size, is I would want to raise awareness for that. Maybe donate to charities that help that sort of thing, which aren't too common that I've noticed, but that is like my ultimate end goal. Like I don't really care how big I get because I've been doing this for years, and I haven't even hit 500 subs, but that's okay. I have a nice little dedicated small following that I'm glad they'd show up. That's that means the world to me.
Mhm.
Um, so I'd really say just my end goal is just to raise awareness for a disease one day if I grow big enough. But for now, just kind of have fun and go with it. I'm thinking if somebody's having a bad day, if I can make somebody laugh or forget about something for a minute, then I'm meeting the goal right there as I do it. So that's my goal. That's what keeps me going.
What did you want to be when you were a kid?
I always wanted to work. It's funny going back with my mom. She used to work at a nursing home, and she used to always bring me up there. And I always either wanted to be a veterinarian, but that's so sad. You put animals to sleep, take care of them. Like that to me, that's horrible. But I'll work at a nursing home. It's funny how that works. I never saw myself being. I'm an alternate chef right now at a nursing home. I never saw myself doing that. I suck at cooking, but honestly, childhood job dream of mine. Like I don't have huge aspirations or anything. I'm not gonna lie to you. I always wanted to work at a nursing home and help, older people, people that are less fortunate like that. It brings me what's the word, what's the
Uh,
word?
I can't
It,
remember.
it helps. It helps you feel better about yourself.
Mhm. What kind of foods do you like?
So many people might not know this about me. The spicier the better. I fucking love spicy food. Um we're talking like Carolina Reaper, habanero, Spicy habanero, mango, that kind of thing. Really big into soups. I make a pretty bomb ass clam chowder and chicken sausage gumbo, that sort of thing. People are gonna kill me. Not crazy about pizzas most of the time. I know I'm weird, but I've always been a big soup guy. Clam. If you want to win over my heart, give me a bowl of clam chowder and oyster crackers.
It sounds delicious.
Oh man,
What kind of games do you like?
I've always really been big into RPGs and FPS games. Huge fan of Diablo, specifically Diablo 2. Favorite game of all time. I don't know if you ever heard of a series called Time Splitters.
Yeah.
It's like this comedic, especially Time Splitters Future Perfect is very comedic FPS. Kind of feels like Halo in a way. Very fun game, time travel. Love it. Metal Gear Rising, but I'd say ultimately, even though people that watch me mostly see me stream FPS games, and don't get me wrong, I love FPS games. I've always been a big RPG guy. We're talking like one of my favorite games of all time is Fallout 2, which I feel like is an obscure choice, but I love that game. But I like a whole bunch of different games. The original Sonic games on the Genesis, Metal Gear Rising. I memed that game up lately. That game's a lot of fun. Um, oh, what else? Streets of Rage. That's a fun one. I'd say my taste is very varied. I think one of my favorite series of all time growing up was Guitar Hero, specifically Guitar Hero 2.
Nice.
Played that so much that the disc doesn't even work anymore on my PS2. Sad.
What's the first game you remember loving?
We go back to Sonic. Sonic 2 on the Genesis. That's the first game I ever remember playing. We had the original model Sega Genesis as kids, so I used to play it with my sister. That game had a split screen where you could just play through the single player, split screen. Um, and there's just something like so nostalgic and just brings back so many good memories to me. That I love that game. That and the original Rayman, same thing. Like the original Rayman on the PlayStation 1 just has such good art and music and whatnot, but it's a single player game, so like, and it's known for being pretty challenging for a kid's game. So every time we would get stuck, I would just hand it to my sister. She gets stuck, she hands it back to me, and Sonic 2 and Rayman 1 on the PS1 are just like that's my childhood right there. Rayman Legends is great, by the way. I suggest that to anybody. That goes on sale for like $5 all the time. That's a good time.
What kind of movies do you like?
Big horror movie fan. Horror movies, comedy. One of my favorite movies. This is gonna be a weird choice, but Billy Madison. I don't know if you ever heard of that, just because it has so many stupid one-liners. Love it. Horror movies. I'd say. I don't know if you ever seen Terrifier. Like those movies are so fucking disturbing, like in a very entertaining way. Um, they're newer movies, but they remind me of like 80s slashers that I'm a fan of that. Like that 80 music, like synth wavy kind of sound, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Um I'd say my favorite movie of all time though is either Terminator 2, the first RoboCop masterpiece. Love RoboCop. I think they're coming out with a new RoboCop game too. Super excited for that. Um Ooh, you got me thinking now. And I'd say my favorite childhood movie of all time, though, is the first Incredibles movie. Love that movie. I don't know why, but it's just an entertaining time. It aged super well too.
Mm-hmm.
It still looks fantastic.
What's your favorite childhood memory?
Ooh, gotta give me a minute to think. I guess honestly, it's just hanging out with my sister, and like I said, with the Rayman game and playing Sega Genesis with my sister and all that. A lot of it just has to do with games and playing with my family and shit. What else? Learning guitar when I was a kid. That was because I struggled so hard, like learning how to play acoustic when I was a kid, but you get better and better. And there's something about that initial learning curve of like learning an instrument. Um, that at the time you're like it stresses you out, but you're so like happy about it once you get better, you know, that kind of thing. So I'd say a mix of those two.
Do you have a role model or hero?
Are we talking online or in real life or what?
Anywhere.
Honestly, I this is gonna sound cringy, but honestly, my ma, you know, she had a very painful, horrible disease, but a lot of my humor is really inspired by her. She would joke around all the fucking time about the worst, horrible shit in context, but it's like that I don't give a fuck energy, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna joke around. And, like that's really fucking, especially if you're in pain all the time like that. That's really fucking inspirational to me. And I try to reflect that in my humor and what I do, somewhat, at least when it comes to like my online, you know, my stream and whatnot. Because I do try to put on a character for that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
at least a little bit. See, I don't. I'm just kind of inspired by like my friends. Like you interviewed Gravity. He's been nothing but awesome towards me. Helped me through some dark times too. Great guy. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad he found you too. Super good guy. Um, but really, it's like a lot of my friends what they do online and shit that inspires me to do what I do. Because there's been so many times where I wanted to quit because you don't grow. Like I said, you don't grow. It gets discouraging, you know.
Mm-hmm. There.
I think my first goal was 100 subs, but that took me about a year. And that was before YouTube Shorts were a thing, I believe. So,
I've been
oh, they fucking pop off. Like they pop off to the point where, like, don't get me wrong, I love long form videos and whatnot and content. I really like game breakdowns and how like code in games works and that kind of thing. Um, but man, those like, let's say if you make something that just takes you hours and hours and hours, and it only gets you a little bit of views, but you like my most popular video has 32,000 views, and it was me shit-faced drunk making fun of a toy commercial. It got 32,000 views, but something I worked for on weeks on, it'll get like 100. You know what I mean? So YouTube's
Yeah.
very weird. You got to get lucky.
What jobs have you had, the best and the worst?
So I've actually only had two jobs. PCA, so taking care of somebody. That was I've been doing that for about 10 years, I'd say, right out of high school. And my second job was a dietary aide at the rehab, but they trained me up to be the alternate chef, and that's what I'm doing now. They make me pull 13-hour shifts all the goddamn time, but there's some sense of pride to it in a way too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you're giving people what they want for food and whatnot when they're sick. You know that I'm very fortunate to be in that position where like I didn't have to work like any fast food jobs or any ball busting jobs or anything like that. You know, where it's like, oh, I hate this. It's, you know, I'm very fortunate in that respect.
Mm-hmm. What kind of books or shows do you read or watch?
So I used to be the biggest Game of Thrones fan in the world. Used to like The Walking Dead up to like maybe season 5. Um, Not really too big into books. I used to love comic books though. Batman, you know, all the superhero stuff. Um, Not really too big into books myself. Used to like the old Harry Potter books, but you know, the first 2 or 3, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say right now I'm really getting into because I've been slacking on Breaking Bad, and I'm really getting into that. Like, how the hell did I miss that? Um, but I'm a child at heart. Like, I still like my cartoons once in a while. Like, I fucking love Courage the Cowardly Dog. Amazing. I think I was talking to you about that the other day too. Like, you need to watch that. It's amazing. Um, and I feel like a lot of my humor is inspired by older cartoons like that, like Ed, and Eddie. Um, what else? Courage the Cowardly Dog. Johnny Bravo. Fucking love Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, that's a good
That
one.
that show did not last that long. It's so sad.
Yeah, I don't think that would go too well today. I think it would get canceled right away. People would be like,
No, I'd
"What is
love it.
this?" I know.
They see they could turn it into such an edgy fucking thing though. That'd be perfect. Like how they changed didn't Scooby Doo have some kind of Velma spin-off thing that everybody hates
Yeah.
or something? But I feel like Johnny Bravo like in a more edgy sense coming out today. That'd be so fucking fun to watch.
What are your current goals or plans?
Online content wise, I honestly don't really have any. My initial goal was 1,000 subs, and I'd love to get there. But ultimately, like I said, it's just to raise awareness for the disease my mom had because it was fairly rare, and just to make friends along the way and just make memories. I think after a few years when I wasn't really hitting like any decent numbers that I wanted to see, or at least in my eyes, I was like, you know what, I'm going to change my goals. I'm going to change my ideas. When it comes to this, and you make good ass memories, and that's the goal. You know, you have fun doing it. If you don't enjoy doing it, then you're just why are you doing it? You know, like I prioritize Twitch because that's what I'm used to. But you don't get paid jack shit on Twitch, man. You get 50% of your ad revenue split. So at that point, you know, you got to do it for fun, you know?
Do you have any tattoos?
No. I don't really have any plans for tats right now. I'm not really a fan of that. I just something permanent on your body. I'm not sure. I would only get one if it has like an extreme significance, like I don't know if I ever have kids one day. I have my kid's name tattooed on my arm, or I don't know, you know, something that reminds me of friends long gone, or just you know, or passed away or whatever. Like it has to have extreme significance for me to do that.
Hmm.
But I think I will eventually get one, probably coming here in the next year or so. Because I'm starting to think like, okay, maybe there is something, you know,
Hmm.
that I would want permanently left on me. But I don't see tattoos as like, oh man, I want this random thing I used to like on my arm because what if you don't like it anymore? You know what I mean?
Right. What are some of the tough parts of being a creator?
I'd say the toughest part is staying consistent. Especially with me. At first, it's like I wanted to do like a whole bunch of different, you know, things. But at the same time, I wanted to be known for like this one specific thing, and you know, you jump ship all the time, and it's really like I said, finding the right thing to post at the right time. It's a lot of it's burnout is the toughest thing. Is you feel like you put so much work into it, and then you don't meet your goals or anything. If you set those like, let's say for example, 1,000 sub goal, whatever. If you don't meet those goals, you get super burnt out to where you don't want to do it anymore. So my biggest tip for people that are just starting out is don't set yourself number goals. I'd say just set yourself like, oh, I'm gonna meet all these cool people and this and that. Like, you know, set goals based on like making memories and stuff on doing it. Um, and I think that's the best way to avoid burnout because burnout will straight up kill your channel. I think that's why I got into streaming because it gives you a break from that like editing process because editing takes so long, man. You know.
Hmm.
Um, but I think that's what helps with burnout is with me too. Is you got to experiment and try different things. Um, that's how the whole PNG tuber thing happened with me because I used to never do this, but I was like, okay, what can I do? You know, I'm getting burnt out. Can I come up with a unique idea in this space that not many other people are doing? So I'm like, oh shit, wait, a shit talking, edgy kind of Bidoof character. You know, like nobody does that.
Hmm.
Most people that are PNG tubers, they try to be like, not all, but most of them try to be like wholesome. You know, like no, I'm gonna be opposite. I'm gonna appear wholesome, and then when you talk to me, I say the most edgy shit. Like that's to me, that's an idea. You know, that I want to stick with because I don't see that being done anywhere.
Have you experienced depression or anxiety?
Oh yeah, bad. There's certain things I don't want to say like online and live, but you name it, depression and sadness wise, I've been through it. You go to therapy, you know, obviously got to find the right therapist. That might take a little bit. It took a little bit for me. I went through like 3 or 4 before I'm like, okay, you know, this therapist is good. But really, like, if you're in a real dark hole, I always just told myself, you got to find one thing, even if it's the stupidest thing in the world, one thing you keep fighting for. You know, um, it's like, what's one thing you really like in the world that you're just like, oh man, I want to experience that again. You know what I mean? You stick yourself around for that. If you're in an extremely dark place, um, but really, you just You try to carve out a path for yourself the best way you can, play the hand you're dealt, um, and just do something you're proud of, you know? It doesn't have to be this massive thing. You don't have to be famous or fucking rich or anything. Just do something you're proud of. And I think once you hit there, shit'll get better.
What are some things you do to relax?
Usually gaming. But I don't like to relax. I always like talking to my friends. So like I'm not that big of a fan of Fortnite, for example, but I know a lot of my friends like to play it. I use it more as an excuse to like talk to my friends and like Fortnite's a game where you can meme around and like just have a funny laugh at it with your friends and whatnot. So I like to do that. Um, I like I said, I like certain TV shows and whatnot, but I don't really like to relax by just staring at a screen, you know, blank face, not doing anything. I like to interact with the entertainment that I use, you know. Um, so really, it's I like my gaming. I love music. I'm a big Rush and Led Zeppelin fan. Um, I always go back to that to relax.
What do you think about meditation?
I don't personally do it, but I'd say you know what, if it helps calm your mind, calm your soul, you know, you do it. You know, life life's fucking hard sometimes, man. So if you gotta if you found something that works for you to calm yourself down, you go ahead and do it, Queen.
What does a dream vacation look like?
Ah, shit, no work. No, but I always wanted to like conquer certain fears I've had, like you know what I mean, like skydiving. I'm petrified of like going in a plane or going skydiving or anything like that. But I would love to just conquer my fear and do something like that for a vacation. You know what I mean, or just like go on a cruise, that kind of thing. Nothing too complicated, nothing too fancy. Um, but there's something about me that like I want to conquer my fear of heights. So I want to go skydiving one day if I go on a proper vacation. You know, I think that'd be a lot of fun. That'd make a good story one day.
What is something you do to treat yourself?
Ooh, I it's probably not good for me, but I like getting myself DoorDash, getting myself a burger or something after a hard day, that kind of thing. You know, America burger. You know, but I don't know, like it's not a good habit, but like I was stressed out the other week. I'm like, man, I would really like a new computer monitor, you know. So sometimes I do that. Um, but you know, really, it's that kind of thing. It's nothing too crazy. Um, Mainly just go back to the hobbies I enjoy, or making my hobbies more enjoyable. You know, new audio equipment. Like I was talking to you before we started about like I got a new audio deck for my headphones. I use a pair of studio headphone. That kind of thing, you know.
Are you spiritual or religious?
I'm mixed. I would like to believe that there's something there for you after you pass. But I've seen so much suffering with people in my life, just mental, physical, all that, that it really does make you sit down and think, you know. I don't know if that's just me, but there is a deep part of me that's like, you know, this person was a good person and they went through so much crap, and now that they're gone, you know, maybe maybe there might be something, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really consider myself religious or spiritual really, but there is a part of me that's open to it. Certain situations in life really make you think about it, you know? And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I'd say before COVID, you know, most people be like, "Oh, I'm an extrovert," you know. I've actually always just kind of been to myself, and I just stuck to my small little friend group, and that be that. But I noticed, like, ever since after COVID, and you know, I get this new job and all that, I've I went from being this really shy person to like being really interested in meeting new people because it creates life experiences, you know. Um, so I'd say I started as an introvert, but I'm trying to break out of that shell as best I can. Trying to get myself out there a little more, you know. I think depression and sometimes when you're sad, that'll that'll hit you, you know, where it's like, oh, I don't want to go out there. What if somebody makes me upset? You know, that can happen. But I'm trying to break out of that shell, and I'm a lot happier as a person now, I believe. Just get myself out there a little bit more, you know, meet new people. Life sucks sometimes, but you got to get yourself out there because you never know what'll happen.
True, true. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Ooh, I think my focus, like, as of right now, to prep for that is just advance in the work I'm doing. Like, I'm starting as a dietary aide now and in the kitchen at the nursing home, but I always wanted to like help with like activities or maybe like physical therapy kind of thing. Um, so that for now, don't have huge aspirations. Don't, you know, get my own place or whatever. That's fine. But I don't have massive goals or anything, man. Like my definition of comfort's very, I'd say very different to what some people's definition of comfort is in life. Where it's like I got a roof over my head, you know, I got a good job to sustain things. If I want myself something, I can buy it here and there. You know, nothing too fancy. Um, but I'd say I'd like to get more into like just a different position, but at the same in the same field. I'd say. I'm 28 now, so like I I'm kind of at the point where because I wanted to go to college after I graduated, but like that's when I started doing the PCA thing because my mom's health started getting worse, you know.
Hmm.
So I didn't do that. So now I'm kind of in a position where it's like, okay, I'm 28. I don't really want to go to college at my age. Just that's just me personally. What can I do that's realistic that'll make me happy? And you know, nursing homes and that kind of thing. Yeah. So I see myself in 5 years being in a pretty similar situation to where I'm at now. Just maybe living in a different place, you know, more on my own or with somebody that I'm dating or something like that. Or with, and just in a better position at the current place I'm at now. I'm pretty content, really. Other than that,
What do you hope improves the most in the next 5 years?
so I've been getting into animation a lot more, and drawing, but I'm not the best at it in my opinion. So like, there's something so relaxing to me about just drawing, even if you're terrible at it. And I really want to get more into my creative like art and animations style because it's very relaxing. It's enjoyable. Weight, yeah, I've always been a bit of a bigger guy. I'm 6'1", so maybe you know, the weight's distributed. And I don't look too bad or anything, but I I really got to start hitting the gym again, you know. But I'm way more physically active now. That's like the beginning of around this time last year. I actually used to weigh about 360 pounds. I'm down to 270,
Oh, wow.
so
Good
we're
for you.
getting there. It's a journey. It's not fun, but you know,
Good for you.
keep going.
What's harder than you thought it would be as a creator, and what's easier?
So I thought, and streaming can very easily just be like you just sitting down in front of a mic and talk, or just talk while you play a game. But I found, especially at first when you're getting used to it, reading chat as it comes by, especially like if you have a decent amount of viewers, that's kind of hard to keep up with because you'll feel bad like, oh, I missed this person's chat, I didn't notice. Um, but it's really down to a lot of like if you're doing any like I'm an animated PNG tuber and I have like custom scene transitions like on my streaming setup and all that. And I don't know if you ever heard of this, but it's an Elgato Stream Deck where I use like voice mod and shit like that. I do a lot of back end stuff um that is very time consuming, probably just as time consuming for me as like video editing really, you know, is really. Um so that can be a bit of a tricky thing.
Who is your favorite creator?
My favorite YouTube channel of all time probably right now is I don't know if you ever heard of Meat Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
Makes those disturbing animated cartoons.
Yep.
Super fucking jaw-droppingly well done. Like they're a lot of them are so like crazy, but you can't help but be like, man, that's really fucking good. Um,
Yeah.
so I like him a lot. I used I kind of like the one boom, but I find his content to be kind of getting stale because he makes the same things all the time. But he, great dude. Um, like a lot of his videos. My buddy Gravity, he puts a lot of fucking effort into his videos. He's a big inspiration actually, like on my end as well to improve what I do. So, because there's a lot of times, like I said, where I wanted to quit, but he'll pump out a video that he put so much time into, like what's I think he made a Left 4 Dead video. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Why there can't be Left 4 Dead 3. I thought that was like so like inspirational to me, you know what I mean? Or it's like, man, I want to improve my shit. But I don't know how many videos of his you watch, but they're really well done. He does put a lot of effort into it. Um, but I'd say my main YouTube channel right now is like Meat Canyon and his second channel where he makes more like commentary, that kind of thing. But I'm really into games, like not games, YouTube channels where they break down games and how mechanics work. Like how games are developed and made and that sort of thing.
Cool.
Like this how is this game programmed to work the way it works? You know what I mean? I
I
find that very interesting. I'm trying to remember this channel. He's a Fallout speedrunner. I can't remember the life of me for what his name is. Tomato Anus, which by the way, great name. Um, like I don't know if you ever watch his new Vegas speedruns, but it's so interesting to me, like learning how all that stuff works. You know.
yeah.
Um, so it's that sort of thing. Like I kind of like learning how the back end of games work, how to break them, and whatnot. It's very interesting.
What are some of the best parts of creating or streaming?
The memories you make along the way. Um, the worst parts, I noticed especially on Twitch the past few years, just being discovered is very hard. Um, so that's why I'm saying like if you Twitch stream, make sure you do YouTube and stuff too, just to get your name out there a little bit more. But getting no viewers and like nobody's gonna pop into a stream where there's nobody in chat and the streamer isn't talking at all. You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna genuinely sit down and watch that. So you gotta kind of talk during your stream and talk like as if some people are watching you, because that way people will. I feel like there's a higher chance will people pop in and stay in. Um, but the best part of it is really just the memories you make along the way. Like there was this one time where this really good friend of mine. He's not really active anymore online or anything, but I was streaming. I think it was Luigi's Mansion, which is a great game. Fucking love it. And he sent me a $500 donation for me to get a Switch OLED. And
Oh,
I was like, holy shit! Like
oh,
I had a lot of good memories on YouTube and Switch. I got raided one time by this guy that makes like EDM electronic music. Um, because I guess his girlfriend was like, "Oh, raid somebody that's streaming Luigi's Mansion," because I was just doing like a Luigi's Mansion playthrough stream. I think when Luigi's Mansion 3 first came out, I think that was the one. And he rated me with like 100 viewers, and just that's what I like about streaming is you never know what's gonna happen. Nothing might happen at all, but there could just be something like random as fuck. And just bam, oh that getting rated by somebody big or like I think that guy's channel on Twitch was Evo Dance. He's just not very active anymore, unfortunately. But he makes some pretty good EDM and electronic music.
if you won the lottery, would you still be a creator?
I think so. It's hard to say, but really because I'm not in that position. But a hobby's a hobby at the end of the day, and ultimately, I mean, I think if I want a crap ton of money, I would not only still be creating, I would invest more into what I do on here. Um, Getting a better setup for sure than what I have right now, and really investing in just how can I make my streaming setup and just my streams better, in general better. So I would say if I won money, I'd actually probably stream more winning a crap ton of money isn't going to change what you like deep down. You know what I mean? It's not going to change your hobbies or your interests, I don't think. It might make new interests because you have the money to buy new things, but like if you've liked doing something for years and years and years, you getting money isn't really going to just change that overnight, or probably not even at all. Um, so that's the way I like this. I see it, but I would invest in a better setup 100%. My PC and my setup's not bad, don't get me wrong, but I would probably get like a second PC specifically just to capture my main PC.
What's something about you that we don't know?
Uh, I'd say that GamerBoyBidoof, and my name before is GamerBoy Bathwater, but most people know that. Um, my name before on Twitch used to be I don't like the name, but it used to be called Mr. Breaker Man, and I had about 1,000 followers on it. But I felt like I was focusing way too hard on that at the time because I was at school and all that. So I ended up deleting that channel, and after I deleted the Twitch page, I was like, I'm never gonna get into it again because it's just I honestly saw it as a waste of time at the time. That's the funny thing. I never saw myself going back to it, but just one day out of nowhere, just kind of happened again, and I'm happier now, even at the size I am. Like I think I'm on Twitch, I'm like 75 followers. I'm actually happier now doing it than I was back then. Um, so I'd say I've experienced burnout to the point where I've deleted um, my major account, and you figure after that, like I wouldn't come back because it's like, oh, you have to start over. But honestly, I'm enjoying it more now than I did before.
What do you want your followers to know about you?
Um, just give me a minute here. I'm sorry, it's gonna take me a minute to come up with that. I'd say, especially if you're new, watching me, I'm the kind of person where I'm gonna admit faults right up front, and I've had this pattern of like being very inconsistent, like in what I post to what I do. Like I always try to change things up. So if you're subbing or following me on YouTube or Twitch, expecting like for me to just do the same thing all the time or something similar all the time or stick to the same genre or whatever, that's just not really what I am. I feel like I would get burnt out very quickly, and I'd rather be posting and doing random things than just being burnt out and just quitting, you know? The way I see things is if you had fun making it or streaming it, people have fun watching it.
What questions have I not asked that I should have asked?
Ooh, I think you're good, honestly. I can't think of anything.
Right. And last question, how can we find you?
So I mostly focus on Twitch, GamerBoyBidoof, each letter capitalized. Um, that's where I put most of my efforts now when it comes to innovating and doing new things. But I'm also same name on YouTube. Um, but I'm most active on Twitch. I'd say until I want to come up with new video ideas. So I might not be back to YouTube for a little bit, but mostly Twitch, I'd say.